Alright. The bridge to hell. Let's go. Oh, god damn it. No, Senua, it's the bad kind of Viking. Oh, what? How did my kick not connect? There we go. Kick him off the bridge. I played Dark Souls, I know how this works. Grief the dude off the bridge and we'll be fine.
Finish this.
Anticlimactic. Here come two more of these jerks. Get them. Alright, boys. Some. Yes. Oh, it feels like such a good. You feel like such a great warrior when you're able to parry. I gotta do it more just for the like satisfaction of doing it right. Yeah. Oh, it feels so good.
Behind you.
Oh, one of these assholes.
Get up quick.
Yes. Get wrecked. Rawr. A crazy long focus. I guess parrying builds up quite a lot of focus power too. So.
Behind you.
Oof. Big dick.
Focus is coming back.
Come on.
It's not over. It's going.
I think too, if you parry while you're focused, it boosts your focus points. I love that it doesn't tell me that. Like, I love that I'm just being forced to figure it out as I play.
The path to hell. I can sense her. Where is she going? She's getting closer to hell. She's going to die. Wait. What? What happens when she dies? What happens to us? What happens to us? We die too. Do we die too? We die too. I don't want to die.
We'll all die someday.
I don't want to die.
And when everyone's gone, even the gods will die.
I don't want to die. We don't want to die. I don't want to die.
I don't
Senua,
care,
stop.
weird
Senua,
voices.
Stop her. Why is she going? Stop her. Senua, stop.
So I can't run during this part. This is my Mass Effect moment.
Stop. 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 I don't want to die.
I'm sorry. I didn't ask you to be a part of me. If you don't want to die with me, then leave me alone.
I don't want to die. Please stop.
No,
Please
fuck
stop.
you.
Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop.
You'll never come back if you go there.
There is nothing to go back to.
We only have each other now. Don't abandon me.
Everyone suffers. They were right about me.
Listen to me, not them.
Ah, Shadow
They were
Senua.
afraid. Like children scared of the dark.
So was I.
They made up monsters to fill the void. That doesn't make them real.
They made them real.
No!
Follow your soul and let go of the Senua of old. For there lies your weakness, and the darkness will find it.
I am thou. Thou art I. Alright, cool. Let's go kill Death 7 or 8 times. I hear he's got the flu.
It's not like the old stories, is it? The noble warrior facing evil in search of victory and honor. Clear dividing lines.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty close.
Oh, this place is not quite like that. It's as if it knows that true torment lies within. Memories you cannot defeat, cannot escape. This is her hell.
So we didn't miss too many of the stones. Jesus.
Wait.
Oh. Hell is her mom. Whoever guessed that, good call, right, with the half-burned face. Yep. Nice. Also, why did my mom get burned at the stake? Oh, god damn it, Dad.
You see the darkness, faces fear and suffering. You can see it.
Yeah, everyone told me she killed. But remember, she says I can't remember it.
I remember it clearly.
Yeah, did you see it when she died? Everybody lied to me. She didn't
has
kill
nothing to
herself.
fear in her. The gods have saved your mother. Through my hand.
You killed her.
Yeah, you piece of shit.
It is the will of the gods.
Fuck the gods!
Yeah.
You did this to her! Why?
This is what happens when you listen to the voices of the underworld. They crawl into your soul and rot you from the inside. Defy the gods like your mother, and the darkness will come for you too. You understand, son?
I do understand. You cursed me with your own madness. I was just a child. You created this darkness! You created this darkness so you could hide behind it!
Only suffering brings salvation. It is the way of the gods.
It was all a lie. You are a lie! She didn't defy the gods. She defied you! And so you killed her!
You didn't pray to the gods. You prayed to your mother. Your mother, who was too weak to fight the darkness and abandoned you.
You tortured her! You killed her! You are the darkness!
Those rituals, the years of isolation, the pain that still haunts you. It was the only way to fight the curse within you.
Now look, I'm like my mom.
The darkness is inside you that will destroy you.
You're a liar!
No, Senua. The darkness is here. You cannot wish it away. And it will watch as you draw your last dying gasp.
Whoa.
I won't let you kill me!
Of course. Of course. See, the problem with contextualizing this stuff with a big boss fight is that if there's any chance that I'll lose, it really takes the punch out of it. I was kind of hoping they wouldn't make me do like a boss thing at the end. One way to salvage that would be to let the music keep playing if I die. So we'll see if that happens to maintain continuity. Also, I've got magic sword all the time now, which is cool. Get up.
Behind you.
Yeah, it's like a shooting gallery, exactly.
Behind you.
Yeah, I noticed that because I have glow sword all the time. So they're doing something about it at least.
Be careful, Senua.
And also, is that whose voice is that? Is that the narrator?
Watch out.
That's saying "watch out" and stuff.
Watch out.
Yeah, the voices are super gentle. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering if it was my mom's voice too. I think it's Senua's inner voice though. It's like a little weird though that it's. I mean, I guess you know what the metaphor is, that being a warrior empowered her, right? Like her desire for self-determination, her desire. It all stems from her attachment to being a warrior, right? Her love for Dillion came from watching him fight. Ultimately, like her self-worth, her love for herself, started with learning how to fight from him and taking the trial and seizing control of her own life by way of, I'm gonna go become a warrior, father. You can't keep me here anymore. Though I guess that didn't really work out. Yeah, fuck. Also, contrast the music. This is music with woman singing, right? Female-sounding vocals versus like the male vocals of the rest of the game.
And if you really are Hela, then I have a sword here that can kill a god.
Look at you. Running forward, moving backwards to one lonely little past. You're making a mistake searching for Dillion. The same mistake that killed him in the first place. I'm trying to save you from yourself. You still believe it is a lie? The plague of darkness, the butchering of Dillion by the Norsemen. You saw it yourself.
You told everyone I was cursed. They believed you. I believed you.
Tell me, Senua, where is Dillion's soul if the darkness is alive? How you saved him?
He's here. I know he's here. Dillion, I know you're here. Hold on. I'll find you.
Oh. that? Look at greatsword over here. Oh, is this just the cert fight again? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, okay, and then there's the big goat. Oh, stop it. Ow. Oh, and there's Raven Boy. Oh my god, do I have to fight both at once? This blows. Also, the game is ending on a boss rush. Like, guys, come on. Yeah, really killing the tension. Like, oh, hey, remember these guys? You gotta fight Metal Man and Wood Man? You can fight Bubble Man? It's gonna be great. Who doesn't love Bubble Man? Bubble Man's back in Pog form. Killed you 2 times already. Get the fuck out of this boss fight. You're done. I also think I might not be able to die here.
Watch out.
Or maybe I'm just nope, there it is. No, okay, nope. Or it just made me like super tough. Or I recover really quickly. I don't know. He's dead, yo.
You're trying to trick me again with your lies. I know he's here. You took him from me. You have him.
Dillian is gone.
Oh, look, she's so little.
Let him go.
Or what?
Yeah,
What can you do to me that you haven't already?
He betrayed your
Fight me.
father.
Come on.
Betrayed the gods.
What language
Served
would
him.
a
Served
Pictish
his
person in this
Look
time speak?
where that's got you.
Also, Jesus, guy.
Let go of your battle. Let go with redemption. Let go.
Behind you.
Dillian.
Behind you.
Don't let your darkness hurt anyone else.
Careful, sir.
Gaelic of some variation. I don't. Is Pictish its own language? There you go.
You've done enough.
Get up.
Stop. You're killing yourself.
I'm not killing myself. I'm killing these fools. Like I can one-shot them now when I'm in focus mode.
Watch out.
Ow!
Let go of Dillian.
Get
Go
up.
off your battle.
Watch out. Watch out. Be careful, sir.
You're killing yourself.
Pictish sounds like. Okay, the game keeps telling me to let go of shit. Maybe I should just let them kill me? Because it seems like they're just spawning forever.
Let go of your battle.
Okay. Because it's mom talking. Here we go. Stop fighting. Ooh, my pants were going to look crazy there. Yeah, my little sword. I need that.
If you're alive, and there's no darkness, then you never took him from me, did you? And I can't save Dorian.
Yeah, it's not real. Sorry, dude.
Is that what you want me to believe? After all you've done to me? And to him? You're not a liar, but you're a liar! You crawled into me to confuse me and deceive me. But I know it's him. I know you have him.
This is like the most we've seen her talk. Like the whole time.
I'll give you my life. That's what you want, isn't it? My soul. Take it. I'll be a slave for you. I'll fight with you at Ragnarok. If you release him.
the hard way to not be afraid of death, Senua. Because a life without loss is one without love. You turn your back on death, and all you can see is the shadow that it casts. The longer you hide from it, the longer the shadow grows until all you can see is darkness. When our time comes, we must look death in the eye and embrace it as a friend. Only then can we let go of our fear. And emerge from our darkness.
Jesus.
Never forget what it is like to see the world as a child, Senua. Every autumn leaf is like a work of art. Every rolling cloud a moving picture. Every day, a new story. We too emerge from this magic, like a wave from the ocean, only to return to the sea. Do not mourn the waves, the leaves and the clouds. Even in darkness, the wonder and the beauty of this world never leaves us. It is always there, waiting to be seen again. This is where my story once began. And so it has to end here. Because I cannot see further than this.
Follow us. We have another story to tell.
My friend, go with her. This now will be your story to witness.
It's hard to tell how mixed up you feel. Hope
That was weird.
You're human after all. The feeling sometimes wishing you were someone else.
What?
Feeling as though you never belong. This feeling is not sadness.
It just took like such a weird, like corny dive at the end. Like I was totally with it, like through her like letting go of her quest, her acceptance that, like, I wish that I wish it had just ended like 3 or 4 minutes early. If it had just been like, my darkness is coming, but she has to, like, if she wasn't like, oh, it feels better now. Like, this is the one trick about trying to make a game that's both a narrative about mental illness and like a game you want to sell that has a story, because mental illness is not a quest. Mental illness isn't a thing that you're just like, yes, I overcame my, I came to terms with my psychosis. Like, I'm fine now. Everything is great. Like, I feel like it should have, I think it should have been her coming to terms with like, yes, you have to live with this horror and it's bad, right? Like, it isn't something that will always be like, you can get over it. It's like if she had been like the rot, it's not gone, but like I know I have ways to deal with it. It felt very much like she was free, right? Things can get better, sure, but they don't get better because we get rid of them. They get better because we learn how to cope. Which, like, okay, it's not that the game doesn't know that. It's just that I feel like if that's what they were getting at, I felt like they didn't do a great job, maybe? Well, no, but she got rid of... There was this thing where it was like this big therapy quest where, like, she got rid of the voice of her dad and, like, that. It would have been good. It would have been good if, like, all of the voices at once had said that at the end, right? If the weird father's voice was still there, if Druth's voice, right? Like, you can't... I think the thing is that you know, she did get rid of those voices. Like, that was the implication, right? Is that by accepting Dillion's death, she was able to just... I guess the thing that bothers me isn't so much the way it ended necessarily. Like, it was just that it felt to me like, you did it. Here's your quest reward. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're free of your self-loathing, and it's not that easy. But that's not, again, the people making the game are doing two things at once, right? They're creating a game that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It has a sort of clear narrative arc. It's a game, and we expect and want that, right? There's this satisfying kind of ending that we come to. But at the same time, it's dealing with something that doesn't have clear beginning, middles, and ends, right? The struggle with narrative, putting narrative ideas onto a person living with mental illness is that it does some degree of disservice to the idea that it just, like, you can go on a quest and make it better. I think, yes, things are certainly allowed to change for the better, but it didn't feel like that's what they were getting at. It was again, and this, ultimately, this was the only, I think this is a facet of the only thing that I had a problem with in the whole game, right? The game only really had one problem, and it was that the game had to also be a game, and I think they pushed a little too hard on that. I think that if they had let go a little of the idea that it had to be such a clear narrative, that it had to be beginning, middle, and end, that it had to feel like a game in a traditional sense, right? That it had to have a boss rush at the end, that it had to have these puzzles to be solved. The parts that felt like a game were a little bit frustrating for me. But that's not to say they shouldn't have done it. Like, the fact that it dealt with this issue at all, like, your prime example right there. I think that the fact that it dealt with this issue at all and that it included it in a game is significant. It's important, but I also feel like it's struggling a little with being a product of its media. I think the developers were incredibly brave in doing some cool things with their subject material. I think they did a great deal of obviously research and justice to that stuff, to that material. But I also feel like they could have let go a little in the design. I feel like the narrative designers certainly had a great work here, but the game designers, I think, still made a game. You could take all the game stuff out of this and disconnect it from most of the mental illness stuff, and it would still be pretty samey. Which again, it's not a damning criticism of the game. I mean, part of why we engage with media is to critique the things that are maybe not congruous for us, the things that we find off or problematic about it. And my interpretation of the game was that there were some fumbled attempts to gamify mental illness stuff that weren't like bad necessarily, just a little ham-handed, right? Which is, again, fine. This game is doing some things that I think really no game I've ever played made an attempt to do, and I think that's really significant. So yeah, I mean, the walking around bits, the doing the puzzles, the combat, they're okay, but I don't know that there's something I necessarily feel like added to the game. And I understand that I'm not saying that they're not based on these things, right? Like her hallucinatory. Here's the thing: if your urge is to jump in and defend the game from the things that I'm saying, maybe reassess that, right? You can have a different opinion about me, but the developers of this game don't need to be defended. They made a work of art, and it's the responsibility of everyone who absorbs and consumes art to criticize it, to see the things that they like or don't like about it, and to talk about those things. So don't feel the need to defend the game. Don't feel the need to tell me to watch the feature. We'll do it. But here's the thing: there's nothing the feature will tell me that is going to change necessarily my opinion of the game, because the game is the only thing that really matters, right? My opinion shouldn't change by watching the feature. I'll get some additional understanding, but if you say something in the commentary about your game you were not able to express in the game, I think you've failed to a degree. So anyway, what I'm saying is, like, the puzzles, I saw what they were trying to do, right? In the puzzle sections of the game, they were like, she is looking for patterns in the world. This is a thing that can come up as part of a mental illness. You can obsessively search for patterns. Cool. But the gameplay aspects of it were handled poorly. For example, yes, through self-acceptance and overcoming your own perspective on your mental illness, you can learn to deal with that mental illness. And I think that the game did as well as it could trying to represent that at the end, but it was a real tone deafness in that last minute where it was like, I'm going to look at the camera and be like, everything's A-okay, but there's still stories to tell. Cue the kind of corny pop music. Like, it felt tone deaf at the end. And that I felt undermined the struggle that the rest of the game was doing. Even so, you have to look at the whole game as a single larger entity. And I think there's all kinds of really great stuff that they did in this game. I think choosing to juxtapose mythology and dealing with mental illness. I think the storyline with the father is really fascinating. I think that watching that bit develop was one of the more interesting things in the game. Her relationship with her mother, I think, was really cool. And I think that there was a lot of there's a lot of groundwork that's laid by games like this, and there's certainly no expectation that they're going to get it perfect the first time, right? I think that yeah, exactly. My criticism doesn't take away from the fact that this is a great game, and I'm really glad that that I played it, but I felt like the ending was not connected to the game in a way that I resonated with. I felt like the last couple of minutes were like a kind of a corny throwaway, and I wish that it had said, what I wanted the message to be at the end wasn't like, you did the quest, cool, stick around for the sequel. What I would have liked to have heard was, it's hard. Right? Senua will never be free of that darkness. You cannot shed that darkness, but you can come to terms with it. You can learn to deal with it. Things will always be bad. Suffering from mental illness cannot really be cured, but it can be mitigated. And part of that is self-awareness. Part of that is therapy. Senua's therapy was going on this quest and letting go. Yes, she is better equipped to handle it, but she can't be free of it. And I think that the game mashed so much of that message into that last 3 minutes that it felt like a little bit weak, right? That it felt like, oh no, the rot's back. Uh-oh, no wait, it's fine. And what they said was, it's better now, it feels different and it's great. And like that, yeah, I mean, it felt a little like slapdash at the end. I don't need it to continue to be like hellish and dark, but I don't like the idea of them just like letting go of it and being like, well, now she's perfect master of her magic powers. Honestly, you know, I don't think it was dark enough. I think that dealing with mental illness doesn't get a free pass at the end. You don't get the happy ending. You don't get the sun coming out. You don't get the darkness that gets repelled. You don't just suddenly come to terms with it. But again, the game is a game, and we only had, you know, 7 or 8 hours to tell that story. We don't get Senua's whole life. Right? If Senua is a real person, she will never be free of her psychosis, because that's not how that works. So it feels disingenuous to imply at the end that now she has some outlook, some magic power to move through the world. I guess this is one opportunity where a sequel would actually give us the opportunity to see some of that, right? Where a sequel would be quite good. To see Senua older, to see her in the future, still dealing with her mental illness, but from an outside perspective, maybe helping someone else come to terms with it. If Senua was the, say, the like mother figure for another person suffering from similar stuff, right? Like, I would love to see that. I want to know more about Senua's story, but not because I want to see her go become a mental health superhero because she beat her psychosis through a magical voyage. But I'm super curious about what the developers would do with her later. Yeah. So that's my thing. I hope I'm clear about that. That, like, I don't think that they needed the game to be all grim and brutal at the end, and I think that recovery is a process that happens in steps. But the combination of the music, the tonal shift, the sudden lighting change, it all felt a little too pat at the end. It felt a little bit too tied up. But I will say that there was so much in the game to love, so much exciting stuff, so many interesting things in it, and I'm glad that it exists, and I hope that other people, developers especially, see this game, play this game. I hope the game does well, and that people talk about it, so that the next time someone makes a game like this, maybe we get to see another version, another vision of that. Yeah, great stuff. Super cool. So I'm gonna take a short break. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is the end of the playthrough. I'm not gonna record the feature, but I do want to give everybody an opportunity to hang out and watch it and talk about it. And we'll see what the developers' commentary says about it. So thank you for watching. Thank you very much for watching Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing the game. I think we should continue to explore and to criticize the media that we absorb. And I hope you will come back for more.